Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls. Now, the first thing I want to talk about today is kindling. I mentioned it in the last episode. You use your humanity to kindle the bonfire, and what it does is it gives you more Estus flasks, so that you have more opportunities to heal in between aforementioned bonfires. Now, you may notice in the upper left corner, I have a big ol' 0-1. That is our soft humanity counter. And how I got one of those is sometimes, if you haven't beaten the boss of an area in Dark Souls, and you're just killing enemies in that area, sometimes certain enemies will just give you soft humanity in that counter. Again, that'll happen every now and then. Most humanity, if we go into our inventory, you pick up as an item. An actual item that you use, and that's referred to as hard humanity. So I picked one up yesterday while fighting the guys getting to the boss, and I'm going to use that to reverse hollowing here at the bonfire. Now, you'll see, I restore my human appearance with that. Most of the time in Dark Souls 1, there really isn't much of a difference between the two, to be completely honest. If you're a human, the counter the counter we talked about in the top left there is a little bit brighter than it usually is. And most importantly, you can summon people to help you with bosses, like we also discussed in the last episode after getting the White Sign Soapstone from Solaire. Now, I used another humanity to get another one up in that corner, and I'm going to use that to kindle this fire. You'll see the flame get a little bigger around the sword there. And, as you can see, we're back up to 10 Estus flasks. Good stuff. And we're human, so we can summon people if we run into any white summon signs. Other than that, though, there really isn't much of a difference between being human and hollow. It isn't actually that negative a thing. So, most of the time, it's perfectly fine if you just want to stay in zombie form and chill like that. Ah, here's one of those summon signs we could use. I'm not going to do that right now, though, because I'm going to go at my own pace and I don't want to hold anybody up. Now, this is that big red dragon we ran into yesterday. Sorry, I keep calling it a dragon. It really isn't a dragon. It's a drake, isn't it? And see his tail over there. Now, I believe yesterday I mentioned the Drake Sword, which is an early game sword you can get that kind of just lets you blow through the first half of the game. I'm not going to get it right now, but if you shoot that moving tail there with about 20 to 50 arrows, I can't remember the precise number, somewhere in there, it'll fall off, and it'll give you the Drake Sword. Personally, I do not recommend using it. I'm not going to tell you you're playing the game wrong if you get it, but what it does is it teaches you to kind of rely on that early game power, and you don't it's useless later. And then you don't know how to find... You know what? I lost this whole train of thought. Basically, don't do it, though. It's a noob weapon. This is actually the first area of the game that I had some real difficulty getting through. The Undead Burg, you know, I died, certainly. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't my first time through. But this area, I spent, at least 3 hours trying to get from the bonfire in that tower to the next one. Now we're going to climb up this ladder, and this next area is called the Undead Parish. If we wanted to go up those steps, there's another one of those black knights up there guarding... something I can't remember. Actually, he may not be guarding anything, now that I think about it. He might just be there for you to fight him. Which is a reward in and of itself. Every one of them that you find just kind of out by themselves in the world drops one of the Black Knight weapons. No, goodness, no. Not with 100%. They're good to kill, though. They give you lots of souls. They're good practice. It's a nice standard enemy to fight. Yeah. So, you can see a bonfire on the other end here. I'm not going to get that in this run, I don't think. But this is the doorway on the bridge that the Hellkite Drake is guarding. This is... and that's a bonfire right there. If you can run in there and distract the dragon... You can light that bonfire. There's a lever you can use to open this gate, and you can start at this bonfire that's a little bit closer to the parish, but I don't think it's worth the effort going through to try that right now. Now, this is the room, really, that gave me the most trouble on my way. There's just so many enemies. It's this big open space. There's not much to hide behind. And the scariest thing here is that big silver boar-like enemy that you can see off in the distance. Oh, don't heal. You're not allowed to heal. That's me. That skeleton you're seeing running away, he's about to go lower that gate. I believe you're capable of running back there and rolling through the gate before he closes it. I don't know, man. You gotta run right past that boar. A couple other guys, those two guys on the top will shoot you with crossbows. Seems a little risky to me. Hollow soldier shield. I got one of those in the last video. It's actually a pretty good shield. If you're doing a first-time run, you should definitely use a shield, and that's a pretty good one to start with. No, what we're going to do, we're going to take it slow. We're going to take this side passage. And this guy is so annoying. Because he's one of those lance enemies, like I was talking about. They just always hold up their shield. The sword enemies are usually more aggressive. They'll attack you. These guys just pace around, and I hate it. Especially here, because he's got two buddies shooting arrows at me, which I do not appreciate. Ah, got another Titanite shard there. Estus up just to be careful. You always want to be careful. When do you want to Estus? When you're not at full health. I mean, there are exceptions. You do have to conserve, particularly in some instances. But for the most part, if you are not at full health, you want to Estus up. You always want to be safe in this game. Better safe than sorry. Now, what we got here is an interesting item. From this corpse, we got the alluring skulls. And these things are mostly useless, but at this one point in the game, I think they have a very nice application. Oh geez, I'm getting shot. We're gonna throw one of these down here, and that's gonna attract Mr. Boar to it. So now we're gonna equip some black fire bombs. Hey, where did he go? Oh, hey, buddy. Ah, that archer is upsetting me. I don't know what to do about him, though. Usually he comes back up here. Good grief. Come on, guy. Oh, boy. Well, that's definitely not what I want to get involved with. Okay, this is a bad scenario to be in. We are going to ignore this boar. You know what? You don't need to kill it. Because you can come up onto this bridge, kind of drop down into the stairwell, and just run. Oh, no! I refuse to get taken by some loincloth hollows here. Alright. Crossbow man isn't coming at me that way. So yeah, as you can see, you can actually totally skip that if you want. No reason to fight that boar. Well, there is, actually. He has a small chance to drop a really cool helm when you kill him that looks like his face. Good grief! Yep. 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 Good lord. Quite embarrassed by that. I have never seen them so aggressive. I'm usually able to take them on more one at a time. Well, as you can see, we've died, and now we're back in hollow form. In Dark Souls 2, if you're a hollow, as you die more, you hollow more and more, and it actually lowers your health. But once again, in Dark Souls 1 here, the only difference is that now I can't summon people, which is a big difference. You definitely still want that humanity. It's important for boss fights. Some more than others. But for right now, I'm not concerned about it. I went human to kindle that bonfire. I got that done. And here we are. You have got to be kidding me. Poison is just awful in Dark Souls. It drains your health at a far too fast rate. As you can see, it actually doesn't take off that much, but it takes it off often. And look at how slowly that meter is draining to show when we're gonna not be poisoned anymore. Ugh. Poison is terrible. There's actually 2 poison statuses. One several enemies have later in the game, called Toxic. There's a second one called Toxic that's, you know, essentially the same thing, but it's more powerful. And if you get Toxic, you better hope you have an item, or a lot of Estus, or you're near a bonfire or something. That will chew through your health. This actually, now that I'm taking a break, not taking damage from fights, this isn't so bad. Be wary of right, that's a good message. This guy over here waiting to come mess with you. Yeah, you generally don't want to mess with poison though. Good lord, it takes like 2 minutes to wear off. Alright, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Let's do this right. Come on now. Ah! Getting real tired of this. You can see how I might have gotten stuck on this area before. I can't even seem to do it now that I've played through after I've played through the game 50 times. Is that all? Do we still? Oh my god, you piss me off. I don't remember having so much trouble before when I would knock these guys down. Okay, time to get out of boar range! Whew. Whew. Thankfully you can't follow us down here. There's a hollow here on the left, just waiting for you. Another one on the right, a couple at the top of these stairs. Oh my goodness, I've already gone through 6 Estus because of this damn poison. Where are you coming from? I have never seen that third guy that just drops from the ceiling. Is he hiding up there? How have I never seen him before? Mystery key. Actually, I think I remember what that unlocks. Take care of these guys real quick. The hollows, I mean, I just died to them, so I guess I really can't talk, but they are really not that bad. Cut them down in 2 hits. get them in groups, especially. It really though, it's these ones without any kind of armor or shields or swords or real weapons. Piece of cake. All right, fog wall. Thankfully, not a boss one. Now here we can go down here. I'm not going to, but if you do, if you sneak down this hallway, you can get off a backstab on that guy. And then beyond him is actually a really good early game shield that I used for a while in my first playthrough. So if you're interested, that's a... Oh dear. I'm so tired of those guys. Which is too bad because there's another one. And hopefully I didn't pull the other guy. Because there's this guy to the right that I'm trying to pull. Ah! But then there's this guy to the left. This is a Balder Knight. We are seeing them for the first time in the Undead Parish. From, I believe, another kingdom named Balder. I can't remember if it's its own separate kingdom or if it's just a smaller part of Lordran here. I want to take this moment now, have a little bit of downtime while I'm waiting for this guy to come out of this hole. Thank you guys for watching, of course, especially if you're coming here from part 1 and plan to continue the series. I just want to mention that I am still obviously very new to YouTube, and I apologize for any technical lack of quality in the sound or frame rate or brightness. I'm looking at the videos that I've made already, very definitely trying very hard to learn from my mistakes. This is all still very new to me. I know that's not much of an excuse, and I don't intend to or hope to use it for very long, but I would just ask that you please bear with me as I figure out settings and everything. For this video in particular, I raised the brightness a little bit. I thought a couple areas in the Northern Undead Asylum looked kind of dark, and I hopefully took care of some light frame rate issues from the first video. Obviously it's hard to tell as I'm just recording this still. Oh. Scary. I didn't actually mean to pull him out yet. Hey there, big guy. Oh, getting nimble. 2 Estus Flasks? There's the basement key. That's definitely going to be very important later. And as another note, outside of general narration here, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what kind of run-through I'm trying to do. You'll notice I'm obviously not trying any speedrun techniques, but nor am I getting everything. I think I generally want to cover most of the areas that I explore. Even items I don't get, I want to point out that they're there. I guess I want this to be kind of a walkthrough for new players. I also would love to discuss a lot of the lore of the game as we go, because I love it so much. People who say this game has no story are just kidding themselves, or they're not looking for it. I love the story, the world it builds with all these different kingdoms and people. And so I'd like to discuss that. I'm also, no expert on that. However, if you want to watch videos that are made by people who really know what they're talking about in regards to the lore, I would highly recommend either VodiVidya or Epic Name Bros channel. They both have a series of videos about lore in Dark Souls 1. Both very good. But other than that, I don't know. As I mentioned too, right now so far I'm going naked with no shield and two-handing my weapon. That's not always going to be the case. I know for a fact there are certain bosses I can't do that with, so this isn't some kind of challenge run in particular either. This really is just me playing the game because I know it, I love it, I want to talk about it with people, and, you know, I'm trying to get used to the YouTube environment and how everything works here in video recording. Here is our first blacksmith. Well, and we could theoretically get to one before him, but I'll talk about that guy later. This is Andre.
Well, you must be a new
He's also
arrival.
popular.
I'm Andre. If you require smithing, then speak to me.
He's a good buddy. And he will let us upgrade our scimitar, which is the weapon I plan to use for a lot of the early game. I like it a lot. Scimitar +2. Let's see if we can... Ah, yes, of course, we can buy Titanite from him. Beautiful. And now, this is really... I don't think I mentioned in the first video. Dark Souls 2 is... sorry, definitely not Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls is a little bit different. Learn gesture, sure. From other RPGs. In the sense that it really... It doesn't... Leveling up doesn't affect your stats, or rather, directly influence a lot of how the game plays and your ability to beat certain enemies, as much as it does in other RPGs. Alright, we can't get 5, so we're just gonna get 2. Lets us... Goodness, excuse me. Get up to +4, and that's good. Ultimately, we want to get up to +10 with this. It can go up to 15, but we're gonna stop at 10, and I'll get to that later as well. Anyway, upgrading your stats through leveling, yeah, it doesn't necessarily affect the game as much. Health, you know, you upgrade vitality to increase your health. Of course, you know, that does so at a moderate rate. Same with endurance and your stamina meter. But I suppose the point that I'm getting at is just pumping points into strength is not on its own going to make you do insanely more amounts of damage. No. Essentially, how you increase your damage is by upgrading your weapons. That really is just the best way. Oh, I'm back to one-handing. I don't want that. That's nonsense. As you can see, it used to take 3 hits to get through the armored sword knights there. Now, only 2. And almost only 1. Upgrading your weapon really is just the best way. Oh, dear. To increase your damage. And armor to increase your defense. There's actually many jokes about the resistance stat in Dark Souls 1 and how useless it is, because it really is. That isn't to say it literally does nothing, but it does not help very much. Alright, this guy, gotta be very patient with. One attack, back away. We deal enough damage, it still won't take too long even with this method. Oh, no you don't. Not on my watch. Alright, he drops a Titanite shard. That's awfully nice of him. Gives us 800 souls. That's pretty good. And here, we get our second Firekeeper soul. Woo! We can upgrade our Estus Flask the next time we go back to Firelink Shrine. Which may actually be... No, you know what? This video is going to be a little shorter. Most of my videos, I think, are going to be a bit shorter than yesterday's. Generally, I want to try and keep them around a half an hour. This one will probably go over a little bit, and to be completely honest, I don't know if in the future I'm going to be able to keep to that mark really either. I really like playing. I get lost sometimes. I don't know. But I would like to keep all the videos at a half an hour, just because they really, they get big in file size, I'm referring to. when you record for much longer than that and take a long, long time to upload. As I have learned the hard way. So what we did, we went human because I want to be able to summon. I'm about to go fight a boss. Thankfully, that big black knight, known as a Baronique knight from the land of Baronique, I do believe, does not respawn. He is a one-time guy guarding the Firekeeper's soul. You know what? I haven't thought about it before. There's probably some kind of lore reason behind that. I thought I had watched all of Epic Name Bro's videos on the subject, but I guess not. Unless he hasn't done one about that. Unless it doesn't mean anything. Okay, now because I'm summoning this phantom, fog walls popped up, and that's so that, you know, you can only stay within a certain area with your phantom. I don't know if that's an online restriction. They can only have like one area loaded. Well, I'm talking out of my ass. I'm just gonna stop that. But anyway, so those two fog walls are elevators, and what'll happen there is those take us back to Firelink, actually. And that's just one of the ways that this game, as I mentioned in the first episode, just connects in all these really, really cool ways to itself and back to itself. Like, I would not expect the first area, because it seems like we've traversed a mostly horizontal distance, you know what I mean, to get to where we are. But we're actually in almost the exact same area, just a little bit higher up. And this guy is hardcore stuck on that pillar. Okay, get on up, get on up. And you're dead. Did I really not get either of these guys? Come on. One thing I like a great deal is that in Dark Souls 2, they changed the summoning system a bit. And if you can't get a summon now, it tells you almost right away. Here in Dark Souls 1, it's almost impossible to tell if a summon has worked until 5 minutes later. So I'm not just gonna hang around there until some guys show up. I'm gonna keep playing here. Okay. This can be tricky. Here, we have this channeler, who is actually an enemy you don't normally fight until much, much later. But this guy is a one-off right here, who, again, like the Baronique Knight, does not respawn. Oh dear. Which is very good, because he's a pain in the freaking ass. He can shoot soul arrows at you. He can buff these hollows, which they just do insane amounts of damage. That's what he did, a little dance to buff them earlier. Ah, this is not a situation I wanted to be in. Not at all. Ah! Back up, back up, back up. Alright. Take out the hollows one at a time first. Ah! Come on! Ugh, stop being so fast. Okay, good grief. That takes care of the hollows, but we have no more Estus, and we still have to tangle with this guy. Excellent. Oh, don't run away now. Not after all we've been through. That was disappointing. Well, okay. You know what? I really wanted to fight this boss today, but it looks like it's not going to happen. It's right up these ladders. It's really cool. We will talk about that next time. I am still going to clean up a couple things up here in this upper level. You can get a nice soul here, which I don't know if I've used any of those on screen. You pick up a bunch of these as you play the game. Souls, consumable souls, and what you do is you use them to, as they say, acquire souls. They are very, very nice. Now, you don't just want to use them out in the open because, you know, you use them, okay. Yeah, oh, great, I have 5,000 souls now. But then you run around and you can die, and if you don't get that bloodstain, then those are souls, you know, that you had that you no longer do, as opposed to if you had kept them in item form, where they carry over from death to death. The only thing you lose are your soft souls and your humanity. What I like to do is, you know, if I'm, I need 300 more souls to buy this item from this vendor, you know, that's when you go into your menu and like, okay, well, what kind of souls do I have that I can break to, yeah, fill the gap. This guy, his name is Lordran.
Thank you. Yes, sincerely. I am Knight Lordran of Karim. Yes, very sorry. Your reward will have to wait. I've just been freed. Allow.
I spoke over and skipped over a little bit of his dialogue, and I apologize for that. Lordran is a fairly shady person. I mean, for starters, we meet him in a jail cell. I mean, yeah, people are wrongly imprisoned, but it's not exactly, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in his character. Alright, now like I said, it's too late to fight the boss in this video, I think. But we've cleared out the area, we got rid of the non-respawning enemies that are more difficult. You know what? I will take this down so that I can show you this connecting to Firelink, and that's where we will end the video. Aha! Remember this? There's our old buddy Petrus. Yeah, actually, this is the way we used to. You can drop down in here where the elevator isn't, and that's where that little door is to get to his secret stash with a couple of good items. Anyway, thank you for joining me again for Let's Play Dark Souls Episode 2. I hope you continue to come back for more content. Again, please bear with me as I figure out the technical side of how all this works and the best settings and how best to put the videos up on YouTube. In the meantime, I apologize for any technical lack of quality. But yeah, once again, thanks for joining me. My name is Power. I'm a new YouTube channel hoping to make it big in the big city, you know. If you like what you see, please leave a like. If you have some constructive criticism or a comment, please leave one of those. And if you want to continue on this journey with me, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye.